Swashbuckling tales of sword-wielding barbarians await you in Savage Realms Monthly. What's going on, everyone? Michael R. Schulteis here, author of the Rostaval Saga, which you can see, as always, on the shelf behind me. Now, today I'm coming at you with my review of Savage Realms Monthly, the January 2021 issue, also the premiere issue. But I picked it up recently, so I'm reviewing it now. We have 4 stories here, and I'm going to summarize this by saying we have a lot of kind of barbarian warriors and swords and adventure battles, some beautiful ladies. So if you are new here, we're going to do what we always do, where I break this down by characterization, by plot, by world building. I'll give it an overall star rating out of 5 stars, and then we'll talk about who is this book for, and who is it not for. So let's get started. Alright, starting with characterization. This is a bit tricky because I mostly read novels, and short stories is much more condensed, much more constrained. I'm going to broad brush this and say that on the whole, the characterization is serviceable. Because of the genre, these are stories that rely more on plot and action. This is standard in general, up to a point, with the sword and sorcery genre. It's what you would generally expect. Now that said, the standout here, I thought, was the 4th story. Serpent Lord of Bryson Metals. We get a heroine who is relatively sympathetic, and we have a deft eye for characterization. So on the whole, again, I'd say, just to wrap this up, serviceable characters. You get a lot of kind of action-oriented heroes who are going from A to B and mostly doing what they have to do. You do get some actual notes of heroism, which isn't necessary in this genre, but I think it's reasonably well done. And again, that the 4th story here is the one that I think is the best with regard to characterization. Alright, moving on to plot. All of these stories have very fast-paced, action-oriented plots. All 4 authors have a good sense of how to keep the story moving. And there's never a sense of anything being dull or anything being, oh my god, get to the next point. No, these are all fast-paced stories. And I think that this is really where this book generally does very well, generally shines. Now, these are short stories, so you're going to get a faster pace and less room to breathe than you really have in a novel. But I think the authors did a good job of this on the whole. They all did well with regard to giving you some interesting events, some battles, again, a lot of action, some twists and turns. Now the first 2 stories, God of the Mountain by Willard Black and The Festival of the Bull by Steve Dilks, merit some commentary, I think. They both have swashbuckling barbarian heroes who are out to accomplish a specific goal. And I think that these stories are very well told examples of a genre. They're both fairly standard sword and sorcery tales of barbarian warriors, but they're quite enjoyable for that. I think if you like that kind of thing, you'll enjoy these stories. The Tomb of Orthan Ra feels like a D&D session. There's even a sorcerer's tomb. So that was enjoyable. It was well done. Definitely had me engaged and moving along through the pages. Serpent Lord of Bryson Metals was a post-apocalyptic story, and there was kind of a magical angle that I really liked. It's different. You don't get a lot of that, and I feel. Granted, I'm not well read in that subgenre. Alright, world building. I think all of the stories did a reasonably good job of world building within the constraints of quite short stories. Some standouts here. Well, the Festival of the Bull gives us a protagonist from kind of an African-themed culture who has escaped from slavery and has to work his way and fight his way through a kind of a Greco-Roman inspired world. And I thought that was a very lush, visually very lush, and kind of a Spartacus vibe a little bit, and very well done. The Tomb of Orthan Ra, again, you get kind of a D&D campaign vibe. It's in the jungle. Very cool. And Serpent Lord of Bryson Metals, it's Florida in a post-apocalyptic world, our heroine is trying to track down a sorcerer. And again, very cool, very well done. So this aspect, I'd say, was good. It was well handled on the whole. I'd say the most original world building was probably, again, Serpent Lord of Bryson Metals. You have kind of it's the United States in the future after an apocalyptic event involving these kind of, I don't know, they kind of aliens, but they have this sort of fantasy race vibe. I think maybe a reptilian race, and they have magic and they've invaded, and so our protagonist is trying to chase down a sorcerer, a human sorcerer in Florida. So it's great, and I have to give this one the edge there. So overall rating, I'm going to land on a 3.5 out of 5. This is a good collection on the whole. I was thinking 3 out of 5, but Serpent Lord of Bryson Metals, I think, bumps it up a little bit. I'm not going to give all of these stories individual ratings, but that one for me, I would say, was a 5 out of 5. Okay, with all of that said, who is this book for, and who is it not for? If you like old school sword and sorcery, if you like D&D, I'm a huge D&D nerd. If you like fast-paced stories that rely on plot and action, totally for you. Check it out. I think you'll have a good time. This is old school pulp fun. If you like Edgar Rice Burroughs, if you like Robert E. Howard, definitely check this one out. Totally for you. Who is it not for? Well, if you don't like sword and sorcery, not for you. Pass. If you don't like stories that have a lot of action and violence, not for you. There are some kind of morally gray protagonists. Sometimes they do some questionable or even quite bad things. If you don't like that, not for you. Turn it around. If you want morally upright protagonists who are battling evil, give this one a pass. So, how about you? Have you read Savage Realms Monthly? Do you want to check it out? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to talk to you there. If you enjoyed this video, I would be very grateful if you would like and subscribe. It helps us to grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope to catch you on the next video.